Hello, I'm Amy Zewe with the Jerusalem Connection Report for Friday, July 8. Zechariah 8:16. Every man shall speak truth to his neighbor. Let's put that into some context. President Abbas made a speech at the UN last month spewing a blood libel that Israel is poisoning the water supply of Palestinians. Not only is this patently untrue, it is a bold-faced lie, and this speech then received a standing ovation. Abbas made the accusation, offered no evidence to support it, and then people stood up and applauded him. The PLO has been propagating this water poisoning myth for decades. And while Abbas is painted as a moderate by many in the mainstream press, clearly he is not. He later walked back the remark, saying he went a bit too far. But the speech was out, people listened, and they applauded. There is a public relations crisis that Israel faces, and it is fueled by these types of speeches in so-called legitimate circles, the UN, for example. And it is fodder for the BDS movement to use to elicit young minds to support a persecution of Israel. BDS means boycott, divest, and sanction, and it is a political and economic movement popular on college campuses trying to delegitimize the nation of Israel. Another example of this fuel or poison is last month in a New Zealand newspaper, the headline read that Israelis have cut the water supply to Gaza. But the facts were that the water main simply broke, and the Israelis were the first on the scene to quickly repair it. After letters to the editor by people who knew the truth, no retraction or correction of that headline was made, and the readers of that newspaper were left with the impression that Israel cut off water supplies. So when students for Justice in Palestine and other Muslim groups use these newspaper articles, they use them as fuel to poison the minds of young people on college campuses to get their support for a so-called human rights violating oppressive Israel. Indeed, there is a poison flowing, but it's not at the hands of any Jew or the state of Israel. The truth about the land and the people of Israel is hard to find in the mainstream news. But it is there, and we need to find it, and people like you and me need to amplify it and let the truth be known. Take, for example, Google's lead executive 2 weeks ago publicly stated that he admires Israel and said that the Tel Aviv tech corridor was second to only Silicon Valley, and that this is extremely impressive considering the nation is so small and so pressured. Yet this particular speech did not get too much traction in the mainstream press. Take, for example, that the largest gay pride parade in Israel's history occurred last month. A land where, in the greater region, gay people or homosexuals are routinely persecuted systematically, either by the state or at the hands of local clergy or community members with no repercussion. Israel offers protected freedom of speech and expression to all its minority members, and including the gay community. However, this parade took place with basically no media coverage, while such parades in the United States receive a feature on the nightly news. And in the wake of this celebration, we had our tragedy in Orlando. Only after that tragedy did people try to, on social media, explain that the homosexual community is persecuted all over the Middle East, and that now it is simply pouring into U.S. borders. However, Israel is still considered the oppressor of minority rights. It doesn't make any sense. So the only way to combat this stream of false information, spun narratives, and bold-faced lies is to produce truth, a drumbeat of truth that streamlines through our social media and news networks. You can use live radio, call-in stations, social media, Facebook. For example, on Facebook, you can search groups and support them and share their news stories, including groups called Honest Reporting, Fighting BDS, Every State for Israel. You can also support other organizations, including yours truly, the Jerusalem Connection Report, who seeks to bring news weekly on what is going on in the stream of BDS, anti-Semitism, unfairness, and falsehoods that are permeating society and hurting the Jewish nations and the Jewish people. So keep the flow of facts going. Keep truth churning out of every available faucet. We can flush out the poison so that every man and woman can speak truth to his or her neighbor. Shavua Tov, have a great week, and Shabbat Shalom.